James Gunn's DCU is nearly here, and anticipation is building to see what he has in the lineup. Warner Brothers has a brand new slate of movies and TV shows coming in the DCU under James Gunn, leading to curiosity about its confirmed release timeline. Following a varied slate of DC projects released in 2023 and 2024, the doors to Gunn's new DCU story will finally be opened by the end of the year. Gunn first announced his plan for the new DCU in January 2023, highlighting some of the franchise's biggest names while teasing the introduction of newcomers as well. In the time since, those movies and TV shows have started to come into formation, some of them being nearly ready for fans to lay eyes on soon. James Gunn's DCU will kick off with an animated project, Creature Commandos, a 7-episode streaming series debuting on Max on December 4th. Creature Commandos will feature an impressive cast of stars, including multiple returning actors and characters from 2021's The Suicide Squad. Also being introduced are Marvel stars Frank Grillo, Rick Flag Sr., David Harbour, Eric Frankenstein, and Maria Bakalova, Princess Ilana Rostovic. The show's first trailer was released in late July during San Diego Comic-Con 2024, teasing the formation of Task Force M under Rick Flag Sr. and Amanda Waller. While not much information is known about its plot yet, Creature Commandos is deep into post-production as it preps for a Max release before the end of the year. The DCU's first theatrical movie, Superman, written and directed by James Gunn, is set to soar into theaters on July 11, 2025. This will be the first solo outing for the last son of Krypton since Zack Snyder's Man of Steel kickstarted the DCU in June 2013. Behind DC newcomer David Corenswet, Superman, and the marvelous Ms. Maisel's Rachel Brosnahan, Lois Lane, Superman boasts an all-star lineup of cast members. This film will see Clark Kent alongside Lois and Jimmy Olsen as he faces terrifying villains like the Authority, Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor, and more. Filming for Superman finished in late July, leaving Gunn and his post-production team just under a year to complete the necessary special effects and editing before the film debuts. In terms of story details, Superman is expected to largely forego the classic origin story, placing Clark Kent in a world already teeming with heroes and villains right from the get-go. Following Gunn's work on Season 1 of Peacemaker, he'll move forward into Season 2 of John Cena's solo series, which is now in the middle of filming after starting production on August 27th. On his Threads account, Gunn indicated that Peacemaker Season 2 would debut in the back half of 2025, setting it up to hit Max sometime after Superman bursts into theaters. Interestingly, Gunn commented that Peacemaker Season 1 would not be fully canon to the new DCU, leaving plenty of mysteries for where Season 2 will go with its story. Most of the cast is expected to return behind Cena's leading character, Christopher Smith, as the antihero jumps into a yet-to-be-revealed adventure facing new terrifying threats. Supergirl is set to get only her second solo movie ever in the DCU, this one coming in the form of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow on July 26, 2026. The film will be written by Anna Nogueira and directed by Craig Gillespie, and it will be inspired by comic writer Tom King's run of the same name. Taking on the leading role of Kara Zor-El will be Millie Alcock, who is best known for her recent work as Rhaenyra Targaryen in the first 2 seasons of Max's House of the Dragon. Otherwise, there are no other cast members who have been announced. James Gunn shared early details about his take on Supergirl in February 2023, saying this film will show a very different type of Supergirl who is much more hardcore. As of writing, it is unknown when filming for Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow will begin filming, although there do not seem to be any indications that it will not make its current release date. After not being featured heavily in a live-action movie since 2011's Green Lantern, the Green Lantern Corps will get their due shine in an upcoming Max series titled Lanterns. After MCU star Josh Brolin passed on the role of Hal Jordan, DC Studios nabbed Friday Night Lights and Bloodline star Kyle Chandler to play the hero. In the weeks after, the studio found their co-leading Jon Stewart in 30-year-old actor Aaron Pierre, who recently starred in Netflix's acclaimed Rebel Ridge film. Ozark's Chris Mundy, Watchmen's Damon Lindelof, and comic book writer Tom King are set to lead the Lantern series as co-writers while Mundy serves as the showrunner. The show, which will be a true detective-inspired mystery, is hoping to have cameras rolling between January and June 2025, and the expectation is that it will be prepped for a 2026 Max release. Following 4 appearances in various DC movies and shows, Amanda Waller will take center stage in her own soul. As if the Snyderverse couldn't get deader, James Gunn manages to do it with his newest DCU casting. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Fans of Zack Snyder's original plans for the DCU have been dead in the ground long before James Gunn joined as co-CEO of DC Studios and ushered in the DCU. It only started to become deader with every consecutive recast, the biggest being Henry Cavill's recast by David Corenswet as Superman. Before the release of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Gunn addressed Momoa's future as Aquaman and his desire to play Lobo, stating that we won't have an actor playing two different roles. He suggested that Momoa had to make a choice, and it seems he finally did. It was officially announced that Jason Momoa will play Lobo in Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Deadline, which means, per Gunn's rule, Momoa can no longer return as Aquaman in the DCU. This marks the third final nail in the coffin of the Snyderverse after Henry Cavill's Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman recasts. Not to mention the unlikelihood of Gal Gadot returning as Wonder Woman. It's also possible that the DCU's new Flash won't be Barry Allen anymore but Wally West, making Ezra Miller's return as the Speedster even more unlikely after the Flash bombed with fans, critics, and at the box office. So, that's even 5 potential nails. This may have been in the works since January 2023, when Jason Momoa issued that cryptic message about his DC future during the impending reboot. He certainly seemed overjoyed with the news, and what better news than playing one of his favorite comic book characters? James Gunn's role for Lobo in Woman of Tomorrow. What's funny about Momoa joining Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow isn't just that it's another nail in a long line of nails that is the Snyderverse coffin, but that Lobo was originally intended to be a part of Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow comic from the beginning. According to Word Ballone, via comicbook.com, King initially pitched his book to be a team-up with Lobo and Supergirl but was told by his editors to take Lobo out of the story. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, began as me pitching a Lobo/Supergirl book, and it was my editor S., Brittany Holzer and Jamie Rich, who were like, no, take Lobo out and make Supergirl the Rooster Cogburn character. Lobo's role in the film adaptation of King's comic can't be the Rooster Cogburn character, since that's Supergirl's role with the Madeline Ross character being taken by Eve Ridley's Ruthie. It's more likely than not that, being a deadly bounty hunter in the comics, Lobo will be hired by Krem to fight Supergirl. In the original comic, Kara's final conflict was with the pirates Kerm has joined, who proved to be a feeble threat to her. So, having Lobo on Kerm's payroll would provide a far more deadly opposition for Supergirl in her way of Kerm. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow will be released in theaters on June 26, 2026. New photos reveal the DCU's final Justice League crossover before DC reboot. New photos reveal the DCU's final Justice League crossover before DC reboot. Is Aquaman 3 with Timothée Chalamet real or fake? Release speculation explained. Is Aquaman 3 with Timothée Chalamet real or fake? Release speculation explained. James Gunn just cast the 4th lead superhero in the new DCU. James Gunn just cast